So Tanuj, welcome, and over to you.
Thank you, Amit sir, for such a lovely introduction. Good evening, all of you who are attending this session. Firstly, I would like to thank MBA Universe for inviting me. MBA Universe, I personally have used MBA Universe for a lot of information. Like I recollect that when the CAT 19 scorecards were released, I first saw that on the MBA Universe and then went to the CAT website. So that was a very fond memory for me for MBA Universe. So it's great to be here. Now, let me talk about myself. I am a chartered accountant with an All India rank 15th in May 2019. I also completed my bachelor's in commerce along with CA in 2018. Many of you will be thinking that giving CAT is a one-time process and you can succeed and you should succeed only in the first attempt. But to bring that thing, that's a myth. This was my third CAT attempt. So in CAT 17, one of my friends was giving CAT, and even I had plans to give CAT, but I thought of completing my chartered accountancy first and then appearing for CAT. So he suggested me to appear for CAT. I somehow managed to score 97.7 percentile. I gave 10 odd mocks. I prepared in 2 to 3 months at that time. So I scored 97.7 percentile and had a final call from IIM Indore. But I thought of, since I had my plans clear, I went for my CA and then thought of going for the top IIMs. I gave CAT 18 again and scored 99.37 percentile. There was not much effort involved. I did not put in much effort because my CA final exams were due in the next 6 months. So I gave CAT again with a few 10 odd mocks, and I thought if I get into a good IIM, then I can join once my CA course is done. But I could not get the calls which I wanted. So in CAT 19, since I gave CAT 19, I scored 99.69 percentile, and I had calls from all the IIMs. And I converted IIM Bangalore and Calcutta and joined IIM Bangalore. For those of you who are interested in knowing the profile, since CAT is a profile-based, the interview calls are a profile-based, has a profile-based criteria. So here's my profile. I scored 92 percentile, 92% in 10th, 93.8 in 12th, 77 in BCom, 67 in CA. I was a fresher as per CAT 2019 form because I joined as an audit associate once I cleared my CA, and that was in August. So now I'll be giving you an overview of the CAT preparation. Then I'll be delving into the individual sections. After that, I'll be talking about my bad PI experience, and in the last section, I'll be talking about the CAT 20 scenario. So for CAT preparation, this is the general overview, which I thought is important for you. So as Radhika rightly mentioned, clarity of concepts is the most important thing. There isn't going to be a single question in CAT which you have already done. Because in your undergrads and sometimes in your schools, you are used to solving questions which are already there in your books. So you should understand the concepts clearly, and that's an application based. So CAT tests your aptitude. So that's an application based exam. Secondly, balance between time and accuracy in exam is the utmost important thing. So you have 180, like we had 180 minutes, and CAT 20 students will be having 120 minutes. So you need to maintain a balance between the time and the accuracy. You can't be expecting 100% accuracy. And even if you go for 100% accuracy, you will be solving 2 less questions, which won't solve the purpose. So your aim should be to maximize score and maintain a balance between time and accuracy. CAT is, the full form of CAT is Common Admission Test, but I feel it's Common Aptitude and Time Test. Thirdly, identify your weaknesses. This is not a one-day process where you will identify your weaknesses. This is a long-term process which goes on for months, where you give mocks, you understand where you are lacking behind, where the other students are scoring more. You understand the specific topics which you are not able to answer. So you need to identify your weaknesses and improve upon that. Also, I would suggest you to have a motivated peer group because it has a lot of advantages. One, you can solve your doubts with them. You feel motivated. If you haven't scored good in a particular mock, you have people around you who can make you feel better. So that's an area. Mocks is mocks we'll be analyzing in a separate section later. So that is also the most important part of a CAT preparation. Lastly, I would suggest you to practice because uh, nothing can substitute the work, the fruits which you get from practicing. Now we'll go into each of the individual sections. So for VARC section, that is the verbal ability and reading comprehension, we had 24 RC questions and 10 VA questions. Obviously, that will differ in CAT 2020 since it is a 40-minute, there is a 40-minute time for the section. So I devoted first 45 to 50 minutes for the reading comprehension. This was because when I was giving the mocks, I realized that I was scoring pretty good in the RC section and my score was not that good in the VA section. So I thought of using the maximum time for the RC section and then going for the VA section in the time which I was left. Also, there are 5 to 6 sets of RCs having topics varying from historical facts to, let's say, science, technology, commerce. So what I did was I chose the topic in which I was the most comfortable. So I was comfortable in commerce, marketing, finance. So I thought of choosing that RC topic first. Obviously, that varies from person to person, but that was my strategy to tackle the CAT based on the mocks which I did. Now for RCs, when you read a paragraph, you should understand what the paragraph wants to convey. Obviously, you can't remember all the nitty-gritty details, but you should understand what the paragraph wants to say. Then you go at the questions, you see what the question wants. Without seeing the options, first frame a answer in your mind, then check the options. If any of the options match your desired answer which you have thought, then mark that. But many a times it would happen that there are two close options in which there will be a overlapping between those two options, or you won't be able to find an appropriate choice for your answer. So what I would suggest you to do is you go by elimination. You see all the 4 options. There will be 2 options which will be very far away from the answer. So you can easily eliminate those 2 questions, those 2 options. Now in the remaining 2 options, there will be a 50% chance based on probability. Obviously that differs from case to case, but assuming that those 2 are the correct, among them there's a correct option, so there will be a 50% chance. So applying probability, what I analyzed was, if I'll be getting that question incorrect, I'll be losing 50% into -1, that is 0.5 mark. And if I'll be getting that answer correct, I'll be gaining 50 into 3 marks, that is plus 1.5. So on an average, I'll be getting one mark for that, for the question which I was having a doubt. That this strategy needs to be applied with a lot of, you need to practice mocks and analyze what's the best for you. So I thought of this strategy, and I had 6 to 7 questions in which I had a doubt, so I applied this strategy and I had a good result. Also for VARC, there's a chance that you won't be getting 100% accuracy, so keep that in mind. Try to attempt all the questions and maximize your score. Now coming to the VA section, I focused on the odd one outs and kept the para jumbles for last, because since I was not scoring that good in the para jumbles, I devised my strategy accordingly. For resources, I would suggest you to use mocks and sectional tests of the leading coaching institutes, that is IIMS and Time. And also VARC by Arun Sharma is probably the reference book which you should get. And this I'm not saying because Arun Sharma sir is here. I genuinely used his book and it was a very good book. Now coming to the DILR section. For this section, time management is the key. If you mess up on a set, or if you mess up on a time, there's a high chance that you won't be scoring the marks which you could have scored if you had managed time. So keep in mind the time. Also, I would suggest you to spend 3 odd minutes. It depends, since your exam has less questions. I would recommend you to go for 3 odd minutes in the initial period of time and go through all the sets. Identify the easy sets and start with the easy sets first, because if you identify those easy sets, you will be getting easy marks. Matlab, there'll be questions which are very difficult and there'll be questions which are easy. So if you identify those sets, your 12 marks is nowhere. Matlab, it's with you. So identify that easy set. Keep a cutoff time for a particular set. This thing which I have wrote, I realized in CAT 17, because there was a particular set in which I felt comfortable, but I ended up spending 20 odd minutes for that set. And even after spending 20 odd minutes, I could not get the answer. So I had kept a time limit of 13 minutes. If in 13 minutes I'm able to solve that question, or if I'm able to get to a logical point, I'll be doing that question. If not, I'll be moving to the other question, other set. So keep a cutoff time. Practice basic question types, like there is linear and circular arrangement. Then there's DI sets, like there's bar graph, there's bubble chart. So practice all those basic question types. Obviously in the exam, you won't be getting the exact question, but these questions will be advanced level of the basic question. Also, there will be easy questions. You need to identify them, but you need to keep your basics clear. Resources for this section, I would recommend you to give as many mocks and sectionals as you can, because there's a time pressure involved in mock. Like you have a timer ticking and you have a limited time. You have to solve as many questions as you want. So that is the best practice. Now coming to the quantitative aptitude, it's the scoring section for engineers. But for people like me who were not from a mathematical background, I focused a lot on quantitative aptitude. I read a lot of books. I practiced a lot of sums specifically for quantitative aptitude, because here, whatever effort you put in, you will be getting the results. So I focused on geometry, logarithm, equations, time and work. These are some of the important topics which are generally asked in the CAT exam. So I focused a lot on these topics, and you can analyze the CAT question papers which are available after CAT 2017. So you can analyze and see which topics are being asked. So focus on such topics. Concepts are more important than formulas. This is not, as I mentioned earlier, this is not an undergrad test where you'll be getting the exact same questions, where you need to just apply the formulas. Formulas are somewhat important, but you need to understand how to apply them and why it is necessary to apply them. For giving the CAT exam and for the mocks, I divided the time into three rounds. So for the first round, I went through all the questions, started solving. Let's say I was on question 1. If that question was easy, I would do that. And if it was not, I would move to the second question. So questions which can be done in the 1 or 2 minutes could be taken earlier, because there are chances at the end there will be easy questions and which you will be missing out if you are going in a chronological order. So I would suggest you to go in 3 rounds, where first round is the easiest question. Then there will be second round of medium and difficulty questions. And then if the time permits, then you can do the third round of difficult questions. Resources for this section, Arun Sharma for QA. Honestly, I did the entire Arun of quantitative aptitude, because in CAT 17 and CAT 18, I was not scoring that good in QA. So I realized that this is the section which I need to work upon the most. And I scored 99 plus percentile in QA section. Also, mocks and sectionals are important, as it was in other questions. Now coming to mock analysis, this is the most important part. I gave 30 odd mocks for CAT 19. Initially, I used to spend, let's say if I wrote a mock of 3 hours, I used to spend 6 hours analyzing it, because analysis is the most important part which you can do after giving a mock. You understand your mistakes, where you are making mistakes, if you are leaving easy questions, because if you are leaving easy questions, those questions will be attempted by other people who are giving the CAT exam, and that reduces your percentile. So you need to identify those easy questions through various metrics which you get in a mock exam. So you get metrics such as percentage of students getting a question correct. Let's say there was a question in CAT in a mock which 80% of the students did, but I did not do that question. So what it suggests is I'm in the 20 percentile lower range of that question. So that metric is important, because if you are missing out on those questions, you are definitely losing out on easy marks. Then there is marks to time ratio. Like for a minute, if I'm getting it depends upon the topics. Like say for geometry, I was not getting a good return on my time. So I thought of doing those questions for the later part of the exam, for the later part of the section. So I use this metric and marks in a particular topics. Let's say you are scoring less in algebra. So you focus on that topic and then try to maximize your score. Also, while you will be giving mocks, there will be a string of scores where you will be scoring pretty low. So don't get disheartened by that, because trust me, even I have scored less than 80% in few of the mocks. So that, but learn from that mocks and try not to repeat that mistake again. Also, consistently scoring low in a section is a red flag. So try to resolve that as soon as possible. D-Day experience. So it was an afternoon slot for me, and honestly, I felt like CAT was another mock exam since I had a lot of practice. VARC was tough for our slot, but don't carry that performance of one section to the other section, because what will happen is you'll be messing up the second and the third section, which won't give you any advantage. So don't carry that burden of bad performance to other sections. If a section is tough for you, it is definitely tough for everyone. So keep calm. DILR and QA were relatively easy in our slot. Time management becomes important because you have 180 minutes. You need to solve. Uh, Obviously, you can't solve 100 or 100 questions, but you need to solve a specified number of questions. Like I attempted 75 questions with an 80% accuracy on an average, and I could score around 180 marks with 99.69 percentile. I had interview calls from all the IIMs and FMS. So now coming to the personal interview, that is the later stage after getting the calls. I prepared a statement of purpose to answer the basic questions like why MBA, my future goals. That's a coherent story of your past, your present, and what are you aspiring to do in future. So that gave me confidence to answer questions in the interviews. And generally in IIM interviews, you'll definitely get questions like why MBA, why are you coming to this institute, what do you want to do in future. So keep those questions in your mind clear. VAT, that is the written ability test, was based on the current topics. For IIM Bangalore, it was Aadhaar's privacy. Aadhaar card, is it beneficial to a person or it invades the privacy of a person? So if you read the current affairs, if you read the newspapers, you will get a better hold on those topics. I gave 3 mock interviews before the actual interview because a person who has already seen many of the students going through an interview can point out where you are lacking and what you can do to improve. So though that also gave me an edge over other people. IIM Bangalore was a stress interview. The interviewer did not give positive vibes, and that was pretty difficult for me to answer the next question. But I had said this that I'll be keeping my calm and I'll smile. It is obviously easy to say but difficult to practice. But what you can do is you can keep your calm, you can answer whatever your questions you can answer. You can say no to a question which you don't know. So honesty the best policy, and keep a smiling face. Questions were generally asked on academics, why MBA, hobbies, current affairs, and VAT. It was an extension of VAT. Like whatever I wrote was asked. They asked me to justify what I wrote in VAT. So prepare on these topics. Since I did not have work experience, I was not asked questions on work experience. But people who are experienced can uh, can go through their company, can understand what work are they doing, what is their position in their organization. So all those things can be. I was selected in the first list in IIM Bangalore, and I'm a scholarship recipient from IIM Bangalore. Now the most important part for you, CAT 2020 advice. Since this CAT is a 2-hour exam, managing time becomes all the more important. Uh, Not to say that 180 minutes you don't need to manage time, but here every minute counts. The importance of time becomes all the more important. This won't change the dynamics as such because CAT is based on relative grading, as you already know. It is based on percentile. So focus on your strengths. Give as many mocks as possible before the actual exam. There's no perfect number that you give 30 mocks, you give 50 mocks. There's no, or you give 10 mocks. So there's no perfect number. You give as many mocks as you can possibly give, and you are comfortable in giving the exams. Also during the mocks, identify the trends and weaknesses. Don't just give the mocks and see the answers. You need to identify trends, and those analytics can definitely help you during your CAT exam. Conceptual clarity is a must, as I told you. I would suggest you to practice at least 2 papers from either of CAT 17, 18 or 19 to understand the type of questions asked. So that will help you to understand the pattern of CAT. Lastly, I would like to say you all the best for your exams. I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Tarun. Thank you, Tanuj. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, wonderful, candid, insightful talk, experience sharing. Thank you so much. Uh, this was the third attempt at CAT. How do you keep your motivation going for this long a period? 3 years is a long period.
Uh, like I said, IIM Indore in my first call. I had a final call, but I always wanted to go to IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, or Calcutta, one among these. And since I was having my CA exam in 2019, I was pretty determined to give my CA first, complete my CA first, and then go for an MBA. So for CAT 17, as I said, I did not prepare that much as I did for CAT 19. But yes, you need to be motivated from yourself. Like there should be no pressure from your family or let's say from external factors. You should be motivated by yourself. So if that motivation is within you, if you really want to go into a B school, then nothing can stop you. And 3 years is not a. I've seen people who have given 4 CAT attempts, 5 CAT attempts, and are currently in IIM Bangalore, Ahmedabad. So that the number of attempts doesn't matter as long as you want it.
Fabulous. You mentioned Arun Sharma a couple of times. He's live with us. Do you want to say anything to him?
I would say that it is a fanboy movement kind of thing, because since for 3 years I was referring to his books every day in and day out. So it is a kind of like cricketers meeting the senior cricketers. It is a kind of fanboy movement for me.
Yeah, I was just wondering which block you are in at IIM Bangalore.
We haven't gone to IIM Bangalore since the COVID thing. We are currently
doing it online, right? Yeah.
Yes, online.
So first semester is online?
First semester is on the verge of completion. We are having interns after 4 days. So
great,
it's almost on the verge.
So I hope you get the campus experience.
Yeah, we are hoping for
that. It is unbelievable.
Exactly.
Great. So before I formally invite Arun, Tanuj, last question to you. And really we are looking forward to what Arun Sharma has to say, because, lots of questions about how to take the T20 type of CAT 2020, and thankful that he's joined. Tanuj, you chose IIM Bangalore over IIM Calcutta. And we do our own ranking and we keep track of what's happening across the campus. MBA does a very highly credible ranking, probably the best ranking in the country. So we understand, the choice, but what went in your mind when you made this very important decision of your life?
Honestly, that was a pretty difficult question, pretty difficult thing for me to go through. I kept on wondering for 3 days, but what I had in mind was I wanted the best campus experience which I could get. Then there was in IIM Bangalore, you get a lot of people. You get the people who are who have lot of experience. And since I'm a fresher, I would definitely learn a lot from them. And whereas in IIM Calcutta, you have people who have scored. IIM Calcutta basically gives a lot of importance to percentile. So you have people who are freshers in IIM Calcutta, whereas in IIM Bangalore, you have a lot of people who have work experience. So that was the second reason. Third was I was interested in consulting rather than finance. So I thought of going to IIM Bangalore because that is, even IIM Calcutta is known for its consultancy and finance, but I thought IIM Bangalore is a better choice for me. So campus experience, as I said, was the primary motive for me to going to IIM Bangalore.
Great. Great. So before we let you go, last question, Tanuj, any mistakes that you regret, any mistake in your journey that you regret, and where the next generation, people who are attending as participants, this program can learn and benefit? Any thoughts on that?
Mistakes as in CAT 17 over CAT 19, or
your CAT preparation, the way you took CAT, or any other thing that you would like to have done it differently?
Okay, so initially, like I said, I was giving the mocks. I used to see the answers without understanding the concept which it wanted to convey. So I was too busy on focusing on the small things rather than seeing the bigger picture. That I realized one of my friends had 100 percentile score. So I approached him. I asked him, how did you get it? So I got a lot of insights. So if you have seniors, if you have friends who have scored good in the CAT, you talk with them. And I got a lot of great analysis from him. He told me to concentrate on the bigger picture rather than seeing the individual question. So he told me about things like analysis, the trends, the ratios which I mentioned. So I did not see that ratios initially, but later as I gave the second attempt of CAT, I realized that these ratios are much more important. So focus on the bigger picture rather than the smaller picture is what I would like to suggest.
Thank you. Thank you, Tanuj.
I have a question from the student community, actually, from a current IIM Bangalore student. I mean, there's a lot of disheartening stuff going around amongst people. That if my academics is bad, Ahmedabad and Bangalore especially doesn't call me. So you guys are from there. So can you shed some light, some opposite light to this? Because
Honestly,
when I was there, I could see a lot of normally educated, not those great toppers only inside my college. I was also not one of them. But has it really changed in these years, or you still find people with normal educational background still breaking through?
for IIM Bangalore, since it gives a lot of importance to work experience, so there are people who have worked in the industry for 3 years and they do not have such great academics. So even they can make it to IIM Bangalore. Even people who have scored good mark, who have good score in CAT and they haven't done well before it. So even those kind of people are there. But
What is the worst academics you have come across?
worst academics for a general candidate is around 80-85% in 10-12. Yes.
80-85 and 10-12.
Yes.
No 60%ers and nothing?
For general, no. Honestly, no.
Okay. Not even work extra.
No, sir. Even those people are having decent.
So 80-85 is, you find 80-85 people?
Yes.
Okay. And, right.
Thanks.
Sure.
Thanks, Tanuj, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts candidly, and we hope to invite you